Yay, it's Marvel Monday. Welcome. This week we're talking about Iron Man 2, but first, a surprise. I watched The Incredible Hulk. It's a Phase 1 Marvel movie. I'm watching them all, so I rented it and I watched it. And I'll say, I did not love it, but I don't think it was that bad. I think it's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. I'm glad that I watched it. There were a lot of things I didn't like about it, but there were a lot of things I did. And I think Edward Norton is a great actor. He's one of my favorites. And the character of Bruce Banner is just so fascinating. I'm really glad that I saw it. I'm interested to see what elements of this movie they maybe bring back or reference again, versus what they kind of retool and rewrite. And then also to watch Mark Ruffalo over again after seeing this film. I'm just excited for it. So yeah, I'm glad that I watched the Incredible Hulk, and now we're moving on to Iron Man 2. And it was an adventure, I gotta say. So I went into this movie like truly knowing nothing about it. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this movie. Spoiler alert. Okay. So I really did not know anything about Iron Man 2, even more so than I didn't know about the first Iron Man before I watched it. I didn't know anything about this movie. I didn't know that Mickey Rourke was in it. I didn't know that Sam Rockwell was in it. I didn't know that this was when we met Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow. I did not know that was in this movie. And I didn't look it up before I watched it. So it was actually really fun to be like in the middle of watching this movie, and then she showed up and I was like, wait, what? So that was really cool. And it was fun to know what I do know about her and kind of wait to see how they would introduce that into this movie. That was really something. So yeah, that was the only thing I really knew about this movie, was that Don Cheadle took over Terrence Howard's role as Rhodey. And I knew that just from Googling when I did my Iron Man pages and all that stuff. So that's really all I knew. And yeah, so it was good to go into it with like absolutely no expectations. I think also my thoughts on it might be kind of impacted by my viewing experience. I watched the movie on the same day as like a huge blizzard here in New Jersey. And I lost power in the like first half of the movie. I lost power, so I had to finish the second half on the next day, the following day. And I just felt, it's funny because I kind of feel like that first half felt so like overstimulating for me. I just like could not follow. I could follow what was going on, but it was just like so much was happening, and I just felt kind of disconnected from it. But then the second half I really enjoyed. So that was interesting. And I don't know if that's because I watched it in two halves or if that just kind of helped that feeling come to the forefront even more. But yeah, so a quick apology for this angle being so crappy. I'm really still trying to figure out angles and everything, but you will see a full flip through of everything and close-ups and all that stuff. So yeah, sorry about that. The next week will be better, I promise. And yeah, so as far as the art journal goes, this week I did 4 pages. I was only going to do 2 for this movie, but then I was like, nah, I'm doing 4. I'm probably going to end up doing 4 for pretty much every movie. So yeah, so there's the first page is kind of just like an overview, kind of what I'm talking about now. The second page goes more into the different characters that we see in this movie and stuff like that. And then the third page was a little more about what I didn't like. And then other things that I liked, the post-credits scene and the Stan Lee cameo, because I like to include that for every movie. And then the fourth page is a really cool art collage page that I'm really excited for you to see. So yeah, let's talk about this movie. What did I like about it? I'll start with that. It's just Tony. Like, the character of Tony Stark is what I liked the most about this movie, and it's what I liked the most about the last movie too. I'm so fascinated by him, and I did not anticipate that I would be. But what I liked in this film is that we see him really hit rock bottom. Whether he's like getting super wasted at the party and then fighting Rhodey and, causing obviously a lot of structural damage, but he could have really hurt him, maybe he was in control enough that he wouldn't have, and he was just kind of throwing a tantrum, but that could have been really, really bad. And there were a lot of people there that could have been harmed. So it's that rock bottom of just being really sick. He has to check his blood toxicity all the time, and he knows that something's really wrong, and I don't think he knows how to fix it. And then just so that mixed with he's giving CEO to Pepper, and he's kind of learning, I think, that he can't do it all by himself. He decided to reveal that he was Iron Man publicly, and then to take that responsibility of being this savior for the world all on himself. And I think it became pretty clear to him that wasn't going to work. So yeah, that's really interesting. And I love everything with Nick Fury in this movie. I obviously loved. And especially the idea of him saying to Tony, you can't do this by yourself. It's pretty obvious to everyone else. So you need to figure it out too. And I'm excited to see how that, because I think he even figures that out more within this movie when him and Rhodey team up against Ivan Vanko towards the end. And I'm excited to see that continue to grow into meeting these next two Avengers and then to the Avengers film. Yeah, that was just really cool. So that was definitely what I liked the most about this movie. I also liked everything with his father a lot. I thought that was really, it was a little cliche that his dad would have recorded that little message to him and that he would have seen it just at the right time or whatever. But I love that. I loved that, and I think it hit all the right notes for me. I was just super into it. It's obvious. It's also really cool how I think the character of Howard Stark is really inspired by Walt Disney, which was kind of cool to see and interesting. The video of him walking around, I think, was probably inspired by some of those Walt Disney videos of him talking about Epcot and all that stuff. So yeah, and then how that helped him figure out exactly what he needed to kind of stop the toxic thing that was happening. Pardon me not knowing the correct wording, but you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that was just a really cool plot moment. I was into that. As far as I wanted to write about a few of the characters, because I know that Happy, played by Jon Favreau, plays sort of a bigger role moving forward, because I know I've seen him in some of the later films, the ones that I have seen here and there, but I think he's really cool in this movie. It's kind of dorky as a director to put yourself in your movie, but I think it totally makes sense in this respect. Yeah, Happy's just so loyal to Tony, which I really like. And I love as far as the tech goes, I loved the whole Iron Man suit being in that briefcase. I just thought that was really, really cool. What else? Oh, as far as Don Cheadle goes, he's definitely a high point of this movie for me too. He's just so good in everything always, so it's not this is shocking in any way. But I think that he took the role of Rhodey, and he made that transition really seamless. Maybe it wasn't as clear when the movie came out because they came out 2 years apart, I guess. But as someone who watched them with a week's difference, I watched Iron Man 1 and then the next week I watched Iron Man 2. The transition didn't bother me. I feel he picked up exactly where Terrence Howard left off. I feel you could really understand his character and kind of the conflict within him and him trying to still keep Tony grounded. I liked that a lot. And yeah, it was just, I think he did a really good job. I'm excited to see if he shows up again. I'm pretty sure that he might, and I'm excited for that. What else? So yeah, and then as far as the Scarlett Johansson element, like I said, I did not know that she was introduced in this movie. So that was really cool. I think that was a cool way to introduce her too, as someone who like S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of put in there to just keep watch over the Stark situation. And I have this headcanon now that like Tony kept making these big messes, and then Nick Fury would get a call and be like, he did what? Like, I thought that was really funny. Just that idea is really funny. That whole thing of him and him with Tony at the donut shop, which you'll see appears in the next page. But yeah, that whole scene was awesome. And I love that she's just kind of this kick-ass person, and he had no idea. And then knowing that they are going to have all this other stuff happen moving forward is really cool. And yeah, and then also Pepper in this movie I thought was really interesting. It's cool to see her kind of take charge. And then I also like did not blame her at all when she was like, I can't do this. I don't want to be CEO anymore. Because like obviously that was really stressful. But yeah, as far as if there was anything I didn't like about the movie, I think that the first half was, like I said, it was just like super chaotic and I couldn't really keep up. I liked Sam Rockwell's character of this guy who just like wishes he was Tony so bad, like it's obvious. But I don't know if splitting up the villain between him and Mickey Rourke's character made it kind of like, I don't know, imbalanced or something. If it would have been better if it was just one of them, I'm not sure. There's something there that like I didn't love, but it was all still really like compelling. Like I got it, you know what I mean? So there's that. And then what was the other thing? Yeah, so you know, that was kind of weird. And then I've been finding it that at the end of these movies so far, there's always one big fight that's just like really heavy CGI, and I tend to kind of check out of it. And I found that in this movie too, although I did really enjoy watching Tony and Rhodey work together. I was definitely like super into that, but then when they were against all the big robot people things, sorry for my terminology, but then when it was both of them against Ivan Vanko, and it was like, I just kind of was like, okay, that's enough. But they didn't drag it out super far. I mean, you know, it ended maybe too easily. I don't know, but at least it wasn't like super dragged out. I feel like it was pretty dragged out in the Hulk, if you know what I'm saying, when he was against Abomination. That was a little much for me, but in this movie, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, I mean, I think besides that, there wasn't really anything else that I like specifically didn't like. I really like Agent Coulson still. I think that post-credit scene where he's obviously going to New Mexico to find something, and then it's Thor's hammer, which I'm going to be watching Thor very soon, and I'm excited for that. That was really cool. The Stanley cameo, I think, was Tony mistakes him for Larry King, right? That was pretty funny. Yeah, so I don't know. It was a good movie. You'll see here I did one more page. I did this off camera, but just a little bit about those things I didn't love, and then talking about the post-credit scene. I love that just image of Tony in the donut was just so good. And then here is the final art page that I did. I loved, like I said, the scene in the donut shop, so I wanted to honor that with a page. So let's flip through these pages, see what we did today. I think I'll be flipping through Hulk as well, yeah. So there's the Incredible Hulk, and here's what we did today. I think this color scheme turned out really cool. And I like that it's a lot of writing too. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this round. So I'm going to see you next week for Thor. And I am psyched. I hope you are too. Thanks for watching. Bye.